everyone, I'm Kusumitha and I'm from Adya Institutions. So without any delay, let's go into our today's topic, that is why inflation hurting India's growth recovery, or we can also say impact of inflation on economy. And when COVID-19 started in India, let's say from March, we have heard very less news about this growth in economy. But if you observe the news from past 2 months, there is a revival of economy. Before going straight into the inflation, let us know what actually happened. First, the promise of quick vaccine. If you have gone through the news, UK being the first country which released vaccine for public. And if you see this time, gross domestic product, that is GDP, its number was also higher than expected for the September end quarter. Leaving this all, if you see through the stock market, there is a boom in there. And what does this all show? It shows that the risk in recovery is declining slowly, but persistently, inflation is going high. And this might become a great threat to our recovery in economy. But why it's a worry? Inflation has been hovering above the RBI's of India, that is Reserve Bank of India's target range of 2 to 6% throughout this year. So far, the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee, that is MPC, members have chosen to tolerate inflationary peak even as they kept monetary policy laws to revenue growth. As the MPC meets again to decide on policy rates this week, unrelenting inflation may test their tolerance. Inflation to cool down. Many economists expect that inflation to cool down in the coming months. As food prices come down because of the bountiful harvest and supply chains distributed by the pandemic gets rapid, inflation will no longer be as big a risk as it is now. Since April, most economists have maintained that high inflation will be transitory. And yet it has not come down. MPC member Mrudul Sagar. In a rare committee just days ahead of the MPC meet, Mrudul Sagar, an MPC member and a senior RBI official, said that the high inflation leaves little room for the MPC to cut rates now. He pleaded helplessly in the battle against food prices, saying that the MPC lacks the firepower to tackle food prices. Household inflation. Household inflation expectations have remained elevated since April, RBC's survey data shows. Some economists also suggest that household inflation expectations may be heavily influenced by the current inflation rate. Global recovery may further push the prices up. Easy money has already boosted stock markets globally, as stock markets find themselves awash with liquidity. As prospects of a global recovery improve, commodity markets could also find themselves in updated with fresh liquidity in the coming months. The sharper the global recovery, the higher the chances of commodities boom. India is more valuable. For India, a net import of commodities such as crude oil, this could become a challenge. Compared to the key emerging economic peers, India is much more valuable to a rise in global oil prices. Coming to demographic changes. There are also long-term demographic changes globally that may bring the era of low inflation to an end. Governments globally would need to spread increasingly more money to support again populations. This would add financial stress and push up inflation. A declining labor force also means more consumers than producers, adding to the inflationary pressures. Strains on globalization and the growing mixture of China might fragment supply chains and add to these price pressures. Moreover, as the labor force shrinks, the globalization weakens. Workers would gain more market power and be able to bargain for high wages. The conclusion of this, we can say, low growth, raising government debate, and unrelevant domestic influence have already created an unrelevant situation ahead of the MPC meet. The the prospects of an inflationary spiral globally only adds to the growing list of inflationary threats. Thank you.